You're live.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the live stream, Cause Bitcoin team. We're here joined by Blockchain, but we're going to go over all things crypto. It's going to be a fantastic and marvelous live stream. We're going to go all over the current events, ETFs, price action. We're going to talk meme coins. We're going to talk fundamentals. We're going to talk TA, and we're here joined by the panel. Shout out to our newsletter subscribers, our Discord members, and for the individuals that coming from our Twitter spaces over here to YouTube. What's going on, guys? My name's Lewis, and we're going to talk shop. Blockchain boy, what's going on, brother? How are you feeling?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me here. Obviously, we've seen a rally in the market in the last couple of days. Not going to brag too much. I posted my "I'm buying the dip" video very much at the right time, so I'm feeling good.
Good stuff, man, brother. So, do you think this ETF news from the rumors about Fidelity and also BlackRock's filing, do you think this changes the paradigm compared to other pre-halving years?
So 2 points on that. Number one is, first of all, I've been saying this for a long time. The institution's goal has been the same from the beginning. It's to nuke the price, accumulate, dump on those retail investors, and then run it back up and do the same thing again. Now, I'd say the institutions have been in control since probably 2019, 2020. 2017, I think, was the last real retail-led bull run, and we can see that in the performance of what actually ran. It was very much a lower liquidity market. We can see that, social media posts and things like that. Obviously, with meme coins, it definitely had a huge effect, but if we take a look at what pumped in like the 2021 run, it was a lot of heavily funded things, VCs, angels, and then, of course, JP Morgan over here getting fined $1 billion for manipulating the gold market. If you think they're not going to do that to crypto, that's ridiculous. That's the first point. So I think it's been manipulated this whole time, clear to see. And then secondly, once a spot ETF actually comes out, that's the equivalent of like 5 to 10 halvings in one go. I mean, just the supply reduction alone is going to be essentially like what Ethereum is doing, where it'll become quote unquote deflationary because so many people are actually accumulating off of ETFs. And so I think that's going to be a huge paradigm shift for sure.
So for the next cycle, do you think it's going to be, institutional driven, and we're going to go into sort of, a parabolic instead of that double top structure that we had? Because if we look back on cycles, right, the first cycle was a parabola, the second cycle was a double top, third cycle was a parabola, fourth cycle was a double top. So, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Do you think we'll see similar price action as we did in 2017?
Interesting you say that. I mean, I certainly think that Bitcoin will lead the next bull run. In fact, I'm actually quite bullish on Bitcoin for the purpose of, the fact that everything else might be a security, maybe not. As far as price action goes, I think a lot of it depends on the macro environment, given the fact that things are very uncertain at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if this was led by institutions, but at the same time, they're not going to be our friends. And so it's going to be very much like working against them to figure out what they're going to do next. Because if you think that, Bitcoin can't have this huge drops again, just because an ETF happens, no. I 100% believe that, this is going to be just playing the game. I mean, it's going to be very similar to, I think, stocks in the next run or two. I think we've got maybe one run left to really get that institutional wealth for yourself. Then it's going to have much less volatility. We've already seen that. We've already seen the volatility decrease. It's only going to get worse. We're not going to get as many shitcoin pumps. I'm going to be sad.
Well, we do have Pepe up 40%. And I know you've been in the game since 2017, like many of us. Do you think Pepe kind of sets a new environment for the space, in the sense that, you basically had a token run from several million market cap to almost 2 billion. And it essentially created an entire bull run in, 2-3 weeks. And so many new participants have remained in the space because of that. And when we look at things like Dogecoin, that stuff is kind of fizzled out during this bear market. Do you think Pepe might add in a new flavor to it, given that, it's one of the original memes of the internet?
I mean, listen, Pepe's been around for a long time in the cultural zeitgeist, but I think it's the same shit, different flavor. We saw the same thing happen on TikTok. We saw, I think it was like Hoj Finance was one of the original ones on TikTok, and then SafeMoon happened, and it was just one shitcoin pump led to another. And I think that there's always going to be a market for speculators. The whole thing behind Pepe, in my opinion, is that all the degens were super bored and had money, and we just kind of had a flat market for like 6 months. Nothing happened, and it was too boring, and so something had to take that, fill the void. And I think that was Pepe. I mean, just as Shiba Inu came out of nowhere in 2021, Pepe very much came out of nowhere in 2023. And now that I'm, I got exposed a little bit more to the meme coin cycles this year, and it's really just about shilling as hard as you can and getting as many insiders in as you can. And it's actually very, I would say the most greedy thing I've ever seen. But it's funny because it's without constraint. It's greed without constraint, which is funny. At the end of the day, meme coins, that's what they are. And so you're going to see the same thing happen again and again.
Yeah, man. So, from one of our YouTube shorts, our boy Tucker here, big country, 6'2", 260 pounds, mass monster. He gave you an interview displaying, how you got into crypto. Can you give us a little background on, not only what got you into crypto, but what got you hooked? What was that moment that made you realize, I'm in this game for the long term, or for the tech, as we like to say it?
Reminds me of that one picture of the guy who's like dripped out. He's like, I'm in it for the tech, I'm sure we've all seen that. No, I got to shout out my mom, obviously. Like every time that someone asks me this question, it's the same thing. It's like, hey, my mom put me on, and which is kind of funny because my mom is not very tech savvy in terms of like, crypto or anything like that. Like, she understands to a basic point, but one of her clients was a, OG libertarian guy, like dude's got a tinfoil hat on. And so naturally, of course, he was into Bitcoin. And, she put me on because I'd been, a very entrepreneurial person and a tech person all my whole life. And so I had some money that I traded in gold. And so she was like, well, you should look into Bitcoin. He says it's like digital gold. And so, I think it was like $1,000 and per coin when I got into it in 17. And I quickly doubled my money in like a week. And so for me in high school, this was 16 years old. This was very big. This is very big for me. And so I full ported into crypto and put everything I had in at the time and traded my way up to probably like a little over 100K when I was 16. This was like January 2018 was the peak of my portfolio. I had traded, I'd flipped Nano, which was called Rayblocks back then, into VeChain, which then ran to $9 a coin back when it had a lower supply. Stupidly, I held because I wanted a masternode, and there went that bag, and so I had to learn the lesson early. And then I traded my 60 grand that was left over to basically zero over the course of the bear market. As we all know, altcoins did not do very well for a period of years. But no, that really aha moment for me was doubling my money that quick and realizing, holy shit, like this is, first of all, a viable way to escape the matrix. I hate using that word because, Andrew Tate cringe moment, but escape the matrix, escape the system, but also the technology behind it is really what I got excited about, because I realized, holy shit, this could change the world. This is where, groundbreaking stuff can happen. The passion, the energy was amazing. And so I hopped right in professionally, and I started working at blockchain startups literally after school. Like, my mom would pay for Ubers so I could go to the tech and beer meetups in Orlando. And I'd be wearing my oversized, khaki pants and a shirt, and I was out there doing my thing. Like I'd go and pitch myself to every person building something in the industry, and that led to a career which has led me to where I am today.
So I'm gonna kind of like butt in here a little bit, because I actually have a similar story. I actually got into early 2017, late 2016 era. I got into like $10 ETH. And so I actually remember very clearly that whole time period, like the whole ant shares to Neo transformation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Exactly. And so, and I remember actually VeChain, I had a buddy of mine who put in like $2,000. He made like over 6 figures from it. It was insane. Good times. So how do you, like, being early on from that time period to now, how do you see that transformation? Like, how's that changed over the years? And do you think that the market back then, was it better than it is today? Or do you think like where we're headed towards now in like 2023 onward, is it actually good for crypto as a whole? Like, what do you think about that?
I'm trying to find this ID because I just went through all my stuff. It's an ID from my community gym when I was 17. My middle name is VChain on it. I'll find it for you guys.
Yeah.
And here's one of my conference passes from 17. You know, funny enough, old company. But, you know, right now, I mean, crypto's in this spot where we either need to get serious or, you know, get regulated into oblivion, right? And I hate, you know, being that guy that's like, all right, guys, fun's over. But the fun is really over, right? I mean, I think at this point, guys, like, let's be real. Crypto is seen as a joke, as a laughing stock. You know, if I say on Tinder that I'm, you know, I work in crypto, quickest way to get unmatched. And we're not working with something great here, so I can't afford that extra loss. And the public perception has just been ruined, not only by the scams and frauds, but by the just goofy people that are in this space, which frankly, I mean, you know, I love the creativity, love the innovation, but now there's some nutters in here. So when you have people like Richard Hart, you know, who are out here being the face of huge projects, billions of dollars, you know, Justin Sun, you know, FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, you know, we become this laughing stock. And I think we really need to get serious and prove to the world why this exists in the first place. We've had so long to come up with innovations, and those innovations are oftentimes swept under the rug for things that are kind of not innovations, like you know, Logan Paul and his crypto. But you know, going into this year, you know, that aside, I think we're really going to see who's got real potential to succeed based off of the fundamentals, because the issue is, once regulation comes through, your fundamentals are going to be all that you're left with. Your community, your Telegram chats, what are you without those? And I ask every project that, and oftentimes it's nothing. So for me, it's accumulating, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, ICP, Radix, Filecoin, maybe some, you know, smaller stuff. A lot of infrastructure plays for me. You know, I'm staying away from a lot of the layer 2s and layer 1s that I think aren't built in a way that's fundamentally scalable, or that I think have, you know, violated the powers that be to the point where they're no longer viable as an investment for me.
Interesting. So I guess kind of backtracking a little bit. So would you say because crypto hasn't gotten serious in the past, I mean, since its inception really, and going into Ethereum and the whole like smart contract, you know, since its inception of that, do you think that it's run out of time now that regulation is almost necessary for us to move forward in crypto? Is that how you see it?
Not necessarily, but I mean, to reach a general audience, yes. I think there's probably going to be a line in the sand where DeFi has to choose whether to comply with regulatory clarity and KYC and all that, or go full dark web and say, no, we're going to stick to the ethos of that. And so I think that's a question for founders to ask themselves. Like, if I have a project, am I going to comply, or am I going to roll over, or am I going to embrace DeFi, right? And, you know, I think to the extent of we're seeing cool things being built now, yes. You know, in America, maybe not so much. I mean, right now I'm definitely looking at Asia to lead the next bull run, because they're a much more friendly environment. And I've met people over the last 6 months who are from Dubai, from Korea, Japan, you know, Vietnam even now is pretty big. And so, you know, I don't think America's going to lead that, unfortunately. Here in America, we might have a watered down version, and also Canada, which is unfortunate, but that's just kind of how it's going to play out, I think. But I'd like it to get serious. I'd like us to build things of value. I just got off a meeting with a really cool NFT game that is maybe one of 3 that have actually like really amazed me in the last couple of years. And so I want to see more people build really cool things and have long-term mindset instead of the short-term, let's go raise funds, let's go, you know, dilute the shit out of our token, and then fold up shop and say, oh, the project didn't work. Like, and this is coming from somebody who like drank a lot of that Kool-Aid in 2021. I mean, to be frank, this was also the first year I ever was in the space at this level. And so I definitely, you know, believed in these projects to the point where I still got, you know, screwed on some of them. I'm very much skeptical now. You know, I'm sure you guys have had the same experience.
I just wanted to butt in real quickly, and I think that's such a great point because I saw a tweet the other day that was kind of highlighting the fact that, so many people want crypto prices to go higher, but way too many people here are still here purely for, value extraction. I'm not going to, beat around the bush. Like, I'm not also here largely for the same reason, but when you have an environment where far more people are there for value extraction than value creation, it puts the entire space in a tough spot.
Agreed, Ben. Agreed fully.
Do you think this industry outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum are more like de facto marketing companies, in the sense that you can have the best tech in the world, you can have the greatest team in the world, you can have all the optics covered and the white paper and all that jazz, go to conferences or what have you, but without marketing, I feel like these teams are just diluting themselves, because how many AMMs do we need? How many lending protocols do we need, right? And I feel that like the infrastructure groundwork for DeFi has already been covered, right? You have Maker, you have Compound, you have Aave, right? There's no need for really anything else. And anything that tries to do really out of the ordinary of what they do, we saw what happened with Anchor Protocol on Terra, right? So from what we saw in the last run, right, that last 25%, we saw all these metaverse projects, right? But anything that had the term metaverse, even tokens from 2017, they ran to all-time highs. So do you think as a project that's starting off, they need to focus on marketing? Because I know you mentioned Justin Sun as well, and the reason why he's lasted so long in the industry is because he is a genius marketer,
Yep, he literally cloned Ethereum and was like, "This is a new thing, guys."
Yeah, he had that dinner with Warren Buffett in 2019. So I guess
I remember that.
Yeah, I guess that's sort of like the next topic that we can cover, right? Like outside of you can have the best tokenomics and team. How vital do you think marketing is for these companies?
I mean, as someone who has managed campaigns for projects, who has done marketing for projects, who has, been part of projects that, needed that desperately, marketing is super important. And I know that okay, that's not very revolutionary to say, but like, why is Tesla valued at such a high, level when they make like a fraction of the cars, right? When someone like Ford or Chevy or GM can, on the paper they should be worth more, right? And it's because public perception. Elon Musk is such a great marketer, and that's why Tesla is worth so much. And the more I understand valuations and things like that, it really is all perception. I think that the stock market has gotten so far away. I don't even know what a value stock is. It's all public perception, right? And I think people are starting to realize that it's all based on nothing anyways. If you're building a project right now and this is the problem I see most often, you're probably in contact with devs or no devs. Most devs do not know how to market a project, right? They don't understand how to create a campaign or to create effective content in-house, and that is extremely necessary. You can build the best product in the world, right? Here's a good example. I love the Internet Computer Protocol. ICP, I think, is some of the most revolutionary stuff that's come out in like the last 5 years. That being said, and I know this because I know the people who are internally on this, the Dfinity Foundation does not understand how to craft a brand and to really market themselves. And we can see this based off of their, influencer grant system being revamped 3 times and, get abused and used. And so, the Internet Computer is what I'd say needs some marketing the most, but unfortunately they just don't have that in them to understand at this point, in my opinion. I see this problem all the time with projects. It's like, you have to take it seriously. And there's different ways to do it, but you can really screw yourself by not understanding that you even have the need for that, which is step 1.
Yeah, man, ICP, I remember that from.
I was just about to say it.
2018.
That's okay.
And I remember when like we ran into a group that wanted to send us like free shirts and a $10 airdrop or something like that way back then, dude. But man, you've mentioned ICP about 2 times now. What is it exactly about ICP from a fundamental perspective that really has it, in your vision for the next cycle?
Sure. I think ICP threatens a lot of projects because it can make them irrelevant. You don't need a file coin. You don't need a chain link. It's in house. It's on chain. Everything's on chain. These dApps run efficiently. They run, essentially gas free for the user experience through the reverse gas model. Like here's my thing. All these projects, they're supposedly innovating and doing all this stuff. None of them have really broke the mold. Solana is just a faster, cheaper version of Ethereum, right? I mean, you're still essentially functioning the same way, in my opinion, and that's kind of been proven, I think. Obviously there's differences, but we're really we're minimalizing here. I think Internet Computer has the potential to become immensely scalable in a decentralized way. And I think that people are going to eventually get tired of paying for gas fees. People are going to get tired of having poor user experiences. And in my opinion, their tech is just so far ahead of the curve. It's unreal. And like I said, the problem is really marketing and the fact that they got manipulated by Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX with the perpetual futures. Again, I told people actively to stay away from ICP for like 6 months, until it got, I think I traded it from 40 to 60, sold it, and I was like, I'll see you at $5. And so that's where we're at now. Again, price and tech are two different things for me. I can love a project for its tech, Chainlink, talking to you, but the price, the trading will have to wait.
Tech.
I was going to ask you about that, man. What's with the Chainlink play right now, or how are you feeling about it? Is probably the better question.
Well, I found Chainlink on 4chan, like I'm sure we all did back in the day. Shout out to the Link Marines. I see him in the corner.
Up and to the right, baby.
Yeah, up and to the right. Chainlink, I think, is, after the staking was enabled, there's an argument to be made that, okay, there's a bullish case for it. And I'll keep stacking my link until that changes, until the fundamentals change. But, it's one of those projects where it's not sexy, it's not flashy. People are going to want to hop in for quick gains. And going back to what you said earlier, again, value extraction. No serious investor on Wall Street, or even my boomer connections are going to want to throw in something that they hardly understand, and there's also being hyped by a 12-year-old on TikTok. Not to shit talk TikTok. I never thought I'd be on TikTok, just saying, but it's become a place that I love, and and now I do short form content pretty much all the time. So
I think we need to see a lot of these protocols actually go on over to other social media platforms. Because at the current moment, if you were to take the crypto space, it's predominantly used via Zoom call, right? For YouTube streams, and then Twitter, right? And of course, with Twitter Spaces, you can engage with more audiences from all across diverse backgrounds and all that stuff. But we also have TikTok, and I'm not sure who even bothers to use Instagram, but. Do you feel like some of these projects need to kind of put the pressure to go on TikTok, man? Like, you need a face for projects, right? You need, at the very least, an organic community with a few key opinion leaders, right? With faces, personalities. You have to make it entertaining, right? Because I truly believe that for a spokesperson, it does not matter what you say, it's the way that you say it, right? It's, do you listen to a conversation with people speaking? How do you walk away from it? Is it a boring lecture, AMA, what are you building? Why did
the circle jerk of Twitter Spaces?
Yeah, it's like this boring AMA with no life in it. You need to have that fire. And I've seen you on TikTok, and I've seen other individuals on TikTok. And with TikTok, it's straight in your face, 15 to 25 seconds. Let's break it down, man. How do you feel that for the next cycle, right? TikTok will have a greater influence?
I think a general market trend is moving towards, having content creators or account managers in-house. And I think that's going to be a standard thing. Here's an idea, if you want to get a look at what really more people should be doing. Go look at the official Binance account on TikTok. Absolutely killing it.
They're on fire.
They are killing it on TikTok. Whoever they hired has a deep understanding of the TikTok culture. They respect, they respect the TikTok culture. They understand short form videos. They understand trends. They understand how to captivate attention. They understand also as a brand how to interact with people, because as a creator, how I interact with someone is going to be much different than how a brand does. And so they've done a masterful job. A mainstream brand that's very famous for doing this is the Lotus car brand on TikTok, which really, in my opinion, revitalized the company in a way that has gained them a whole new generation of community members, of fans of the brand, of fans of racing and cars. And so, short form content is ultimately, I think, a very powerful tool that you can pretty much invest in for the salary of one, in-house content creator. That being said, obviously you're going to get, your quality is going to vary. If you offer them 40 grand a year and, some basic healthcare, you're not going to get the best. Me, if you wanted to hire me, bro, I would need to see $250,000 and monthly, bonuses for hitting my KPIs minimum to get me out of bed. You know what I'm saying? So you're obviously you're gonna see like the more you invest in that, the more you're gonna get from it. And not only that, I think, no offense to Twitter Spaces, they get a little circle jerky and boring. I truthfully don't know why people are so enthralled with Twitter Spaces compared to, hopping on a live with someone, or like, because I go live with my community members all the time. You can literally just request on TikTok. So I'll have like 6 random people. I have no idea who they are on stage with me. And thankfully no one said anything overtly racist yet, because God forbid the day that happens. Get me banned.
Yeah.
But it's a really fun time to have people on and hear their opinions, and the visibility is much better on TikTok. If I'm streaming for 7 to 8 hours, even if it's just Fortnite, like I get like between 10 and 12,000 people coming through. They don't stay, the whole time, but obviously that's a decent amount of people. And I think the exposure is much better on there.
Yeah. With Twitter Spaces, it kind of varies, right? And there's a variety of ways to go about it. Like the first one is like, the boring route. Shilly, AMA, very monotonous. And then the other ones, they're very fiery. They have that personality to it, right? It's a group of diverse individuals. Like you'll have one guy that's strictly TradFi, he hates Bitcoin, but by the end of the conversation, he's like, how do I find out more, right? And what I'm kind of seeing, right, I'm not sure if other people have been seeing this, but if you guys remember during the 2017 cycle, YouTube was huge. YouTube was massive. And I feel like towards the second half of 21, a lot of that value capture shifted on over to Twitter and then to TikTok, right? Because on YouTube, everyone had tens of thousands of subscribers already, right? Everyone, already did, their shilling and all that stuff, their favorite meme token. But with something like, a Twitter Space or a TikTok, you get to see like unbiased opinions. You get to see the raw personality, right? Like, what else can you speak upon outside of crypto, right? Like, what's your conviction, right? Prove your point behind, why you're into this community or with that project, right? But, circling back to content creation, I don't want to get too sidetracked here. Do you feel that perhaps AI can improve content creation? For something like, ChatGPT, where, if I'm a project with, and again, going back to the lending protocol, because everything wants to
Dude's
have a
taking a
lending
dump on
protocol.
him. Oh my God. Yeah, I know you lost some money on some shitcoin lending protocols.
Well, I almost got fried on Terra. I took a 20% haircut, but by like this amount of luck, right when Do Kwon tweeted steady lads and UST pumped above 80 cents, I'm like, I gotta cut my losses. But if I'm a DeFi protocol, right, do you think it would be advantageous of me to sort of put my ideas on ChatGPT and be like, come up with a marketing strategy that can appeal to X, Y, and Z type of communities? Or do you kind of feel that it's overhyped?
AI is, I use AI in my content all the time. Like, I use it to draft emails. I use it to help me formulate, talking points. I use it to help my run of show for every show I do on YouTube. And I use AI photos for my Twitter, threads. I use AI. I can even animate AI photos for TikTok videos now, which is pretty primitive, but we're getting there. AI is super cool when you use it in a specific way. I tend to not give it too much freedom. I like to have parameters. You don't want your content to end up, too inorganic. When it comes to a marketing strategy, though, for projects that are small, for projects that are, building in the bare, like just document that process. It doesn't have to be a crazy investment. I know, I was, pitching a huge investment, obviously, into a short form content creator, but these are not all like global multi-million-dollar brands. Obviously, we're talking about people in the space. Documenting your progress, documenting how you build, your company, how you structure deals, whatever knowledge you can share that has value and interest to people, like just document that progress. It doesn't have to be high budget. I started in my bedroom with a camera, and my bed was in the background. Like that's literally what it was. So if you're building something, document the process, tell people why they should care, show people why they should care.
We use Oh, so I'm sorry, I need to cut you off there. But
No,
I
you're
was
good.
just going to say, as a developer, I know that a lot of times the term that's using, at this point, it's almost become a meme, where it's like build in public, right? Whatever it is you're doing, just put it out there for people to see, and eventually it just garners enough support where you have these like either like hedge funds or these investors come to you directly and start investing in your project, or you even get bought out. That's actually like a strategy that I've seen quite a bit. So
I try not to use those words because I feel like they're a little overused. But I agree, dude. Like, it's a trend for a reason. And even if you don't want to share the process of how you've, done things internally, share what knowledge you've gained along the way, or at least your thoughts and opinions. What's the worst that can happen? You invest 5 minutes in a video a day. Some of them get views, some of them don't. I mean, you're still putting yourself out there, and that's just the first step, man. Because if you can get over that mental hurdle of, oh my God, I'm on camera. Like now I can go on live stream with 10,000 people. I'm not gonna care. I'm just, it's as natural for me as talking to you guys right now. Once you get over that hurdle, you become like freed from any kind of mental prison.
Good stuff, man. So, circling back to markets, right? We've been talking about AI, content creation, all that stuff. And one thing that we mentioned earlier is how, we might see a watered down version as far as innovation goes for the next crypto cycle. So when we look at the spot ETF and all of these institutional developments, perhaps, they'll be the ones to pump the majors, and Asia will facilitate liquidity on these other subsectors. So as far as like market narratives and all those things, where do you feel like Asia and places like Dubai are going to shift their liquidity into? Do you think it's, AI? Do you think it's like the metaverse? Do you think it's a new version of DeFi, right? We have Uniswap V4, which we won't really dive too deep into, but what's your gut feeling for where that liquidity is going to be shifted into over the next year or two, when interest rates are at 0%, QE infinity is starting up? What's your gut feeling, man? And what are you seeing in the background, man? Since you speak to projects, as do I, so you kind of have an inside feel of current developments and where money might be flowing into.
Well, circling back to what I said before, I think we're going to really see what separates the wheat from the chaff. I think that there's some fantastic, amazing blockchain games being built right now, to where you're not going to be able to throw together some bullshit in a few days and cash in anymore. You're going to have real project, real gameplay mechanics, a real utility. You're going to have actual, thought out token distribution. People are not going to fall for the same crap. They've been around the one cycle. They're going to remember the sting of the pain that they felt. So I think quality projects will rise to the top. Obviously, we're going to have our trends, things like that. AI and metaverse is going to be a constant shill. Already is. I'm sure AI will be even further along by then, and by that point, all kinds of projects will take advantage of that for a quick buck. But I'm really hoping, this is cautious optimism, that we're going to actually put our best foot forward and highlight projects that speak for themselves. It's like that future we all envision of, oh my God, I can take this skin from this skin to this game. It's an NFT, my weapons or NFTs, whatever, I have this digital identity. I want to see those games come to fruition because it takes a while, right? Like if you start building a game, you're going to take minimum 2 to 3 years to finish it. So by the time this next bull run comes around, metaverse gaming should be eons beyond where it is now, right? AI coins hopefully have something to show for it or nothing at all. Hopefully by this point, things are going to be actually scalable enough where we can onboard people to Ethereum without it costing $30 for a transaction on the low end, where we can have mints happen without causing network outages. The industry has been growing at a rate faster than the internet, and we haven't had a chance for the infrastructure to catch up. But I think hopefully by the next bull run, we'll have had that chance. Maybe Cardano will be functional by then. We'll see.
Charlie is he's out in the sea looking for holders, looking for aliens, brother.
We got into a fight on Twitter last year, and also me and Richard Hart got into a fight on Twitter several times because they didn't like what I had to say. But you know what I say? I say that I sold Cardano almost at the macro top, and I did it. That video got probably 700,000 views of me selling my Cardano, and I got the bag, and they have to eat shit on that because at the end of the day, and also, can we all take a moment to acknowledge how terrible Pulse was? What the fuck was that? Also, that's a personal thing because Richard Hart commented on my breakup tweet last year with a crying face, him going wah. So me and Richard kind of go back, and he'll still post on my shit if I talk about Hex too much.
Oh gosh, brother, man. So let's talk about price action for a bit, right? Do you feel that we would have another buying opportunity to buy in your 20K, say when the Fed starts cutting interest rates? And this is just, the reason why I'm asking it is just looking at prior trends, right? After we had peaked out in 2019, right around June going into July, the Fed started cutting rates. They cut rates 3 times in a matter of 4 months or so. And we practically went back to that golden pocket of 6 to 7K. I mean, you know it, I know it, Edward knows it. That 6 to 7K region was hell, pure hell. Do you think we would see sort of the same thing happen, or do you believe that the market is going to continue to ignore all these macro headwinds, right? Because if we're all being honest here, last January 22, NFTs are going crazy. Terra Luna, Phantom, AVAX, all that stuff was just, rebounding and all that. If someone were to tell you that interest rates would be over 5% and, quantitative tightening would go on and the SEC would just batter crypto down over and over and over and over again and FTX would go down, I don't think anyone would have been able to tell you that we would be at 30K today. Mind you, without looking at charts, just narratives, right? So I guess we can touch a bit on that, brother. Would love to know your perspective.
I think Bitcoin has, some price resiliency at this point. Too many people want to buy it at too low of a price.
Yeah.
If FTX couldn't get it to go, as low as some people have thought, 13, 12, I fail to see what could, because at this point, SEC has already shown their hand. It's not like they're going to come out tomorrow and say Bitcoin's a security. I'd be on the floor if they did that. I truly don't think so. I don't think Bitcoin has, besides maybe, quantum computing becomes a thing in a year and everything gets compromised. Sub Snorlax. Quantum computing becomes a thing in a year and everything becomes compromised. I don't foresee a place where Bitcoin does that. Right, and for me, it's irrelevant. I have my price accumulation strategy is irrelevant. I don't really care about pricing. I care about where we're at in the cycle because me parking my money in Bitcoin, besides the long-term stuff, is really just me putting my money somewhere that I can hold it until alt season happens. Because I do most of my trading in about the span of a year to a year and a half. The rest of the time, I've literally been living off of my crypto trading savings for the last 2 years. We're finally getting to the point where I got to start working again. I'm like, but I took a vacation for like a year. I didn't do as much in the space. I did some content stuff, built some stuff that wasn't in crypto. I had to just step away from the space for a minute. But I'm, obviously still in here pretty much, I say away from it, like I'm not on Twitter all the time. Away from it means I'm not every day of my life on the charts. And so, I trade most of my shit between a year and a half. So I'm just waiting for alt season because that's when the bread and butter is made. Until then, it's just stacking projects that I believe in and flipping from there to alts. So I could care less what the price is right now. Long term, again, I really think Bitcoin programmed for seven figures plus by the time I'm, having kids or whatever. Like that's kind of where I'm at. So if price is irrelevant, whether it's 20 or 30K, when you zoom out, nobody gives two shits if you bought it at 20 or 30 when it's $1 million,
Yeah, let me let me follow up with you real quick. Oh, sorry, Edward. You okay? I'm not lagging or anything, am I?
No, Hagrid, bro, dude, that camera does you no justice. I don't know why the camera makes you look like a 5th grader, dude. When you are,
oh my god,
I look like my buddy Shmoo.
Yeah, dude, it does you no justice, man. We gotta use AI. We gotta use AI on you, brother.
I know. No, but blockchain boy, I wanted to ask you about what you thought or how you thought about portfolio construction, and you kind of touched on it already, but like for myself, I segment okay, here's my stuff in cold storage. I'm not gonna touch. Here's what I'm gonna actively trade, and then I kind of think about it in terms of okay, spot, more active trading, am I going to mess with NFT? I kind of set out my sectors of where I'm going to play and then kind of divvy it up from there. I just wonder how do you think about your crypto portfolio construction?
I mean, I was going to show you, they're around here somewhere. I have so much crap. I literally have 6 hardware wallets that I can reach in the vicinity. Not to mention the stuff I keep in other places, but I'm to the point where I don't even know what I have. I've invested in over 100 altcoins that, for God knows where even half of those are. I literally found $1,000 laying around somewhere last night, and I was like, crypto casino time, so blew a couple grand on bravado, but I truthfully can't answer that fully because of the fact that I don't know where everything is right now. I can tell you right now that I keep this for my. I've switched over to Arculus for pretty much all of my hardware wallet needs, so to speak. Again, I'm partnered with them, but I actually think it's fucking dope because it's a mobile solution. I'm not carrying around a ledger; it goes right in my wallet. So that's my main daily driver, if you will. I've got some Trezors, some ledgers, and even some paper wallets from back in the day, believe it or not, as well as 17 different MetaMask accounts. But when it comes to long-term storage, I've got those same addresses I'll buy and send to. Just set and forget it. I haven't checked some of those in months. But I would say 90% of my actual trading is done with ledgers or kept in my cold storage until I need it. Or I'll just use MetaMask because here's the thing, I've never been compromised on my security yet, thank God, and hopefully I won't be because I don't connect to anything I don't trust. I've been, same thing with my exchanges. After 2018, I did get rugged on coins markets, but I've never gotten, Voyager didn't affect me, BlockFi, Crypto.com, or FTX, Voyager, whatever. I didn't get wrecked on any of those exchanges because I trust so little. So honestly, I think MetaMask is a safe place to trade for the most part because I don't do shiesty behavior.
How do you feel about Charles Schwab, Fidelity coming out with the recent cryptocurrency exchange where it's non-custodial? They don't hold your cryptocurrencies. I know the argument for the longest time has always been that the reason why most people won't jump into the market is because it's tedious to hold on to a hardware wallet, right? Like you said, you're trying to scour around, look for it, whatever. Most people probably don't even have the, I don't know if the word is the due diligence or the attention span to even keep those, because eventually they'll end up losing it, right? It's like a password, and then eventually that's a lot of money that ends up being lost. Do you think that is both obviously the biggest gain about crypto, but also could be the biggest fault for why we haven't seen, I guess, institutional or widespread adoption for it?
Well, there's a two reasons I think there's been limited adoption of crypto. Number one is going back to that public perception. We are seen as cringe. This is cringe to people. There's Web3 is a whole different world. Going down the street, if I ask somebody about crypto, 90% of them are going to be like, I don't know shit, or that's cringe. 10% they're based, but whatever. But also, yeah, I do think the tech barrier is something to keep in mind. For most people, I mean, I want to say like this is the easiest thing I found. This takes 2 minutes to set up. For me personally, it was super easy solution again. But for me, that's easy. For someone who's new to the space, maybe not. And I agree that even the easiest stuff like that is a huge barrier to entry. So like it will eventually be available in people's retirements and TD Ameritrade, whatever. And true, that's not like the true vision of crypto, but there's some people like who just aren't gonna pay attention, because how many people pay attention to stocks and ETF funds? They just put away for their retirement and don't think about it. I think it's eventually going to be integrated into things like that. And institutions will have control over a large supply. I mean, I think it's inevitable because people just don't care.
Yeah, I kind of feel like cryptocurrency is currently in its 1987 moment. If we think about the Nasdaq, right? The Nasdaq got formed in 1973, right? So if we think about that huge flash crash that happened in 1987, where the S&P went down almost 30% in one trading session, we can kind of encompass that into FTX, right? Or what happened last June. And I kind of feel like crypto is about to have its .com moment. And when we think .com moment, just to put into perspective, guys, for the people here on the panel, when we take M2 money supply and all that jazz, and we compare the 21 top compared to the 2000 top, it is a double top. It is a double peak. And so if you put that into perspective, right, that would essentially take crypto to like a $12 trillion market cap. And if we compare, when the gold ETF got started.
Yeah. April 2003, baby. I know that chart.
Yeah, man. And gold was like 2 trillion-ish. It was basically like close to like 70% more than the current the previous all-time high of Bitcoin at 69K. So essentially, like, if you were to put that into perspective, it would essentially be like, Bitcoin at 120K, and then it quadruples from there, right? If we were to truly compare gold to Bitcoin. And I think the main difference is that cryptocurrency is so much more easier to access, right? Despite all this huge regulatory issue and all that stuff, like, dude, I can still sign up to Gemini, I can still sign up to Coinbase, Kraken, take my crypto off the exchange, put it in a wallet, and that's it, right? All this new stuff is kind of like noise, right? And it kind of reminds me of 2019, where, they were like, oh, altcoins are dead. All these like altcoin projects sold their ETH at the bottom with
COVID was scary, bro. COVID, we thought it was over.
Yeah. Dude, you remember that Ed, you remember that one project, the internet project with the firewall, and like they sold their stuff at the bottom?
Well, they didn't just sell it, they were trading it.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
If you guys remember that, like they sold all of their like treasury at the bottom. And, a ton of ICOs did the same thing. And I'm thinking to myself, like, with the SEC going after people when these projects are clearing out their runway or sending them to exchanges, like, this stuff is kind of sort of the same thing. Instead of just going like 2.5x from the previous all-time high, we're going to go like 4x, man, super cycle.
Oh boy, I hope so, man. That reminds me, by the way, of the time. Remember when Walton Chain did that fake giveaway, and everyone roasted them for it?
Oh my gosh! Oh, that's a core memory right there. I remember that.
That's how you know if someone's really been around, man.
That was a late 20s.
The Walmart partnership too, man. Can't forget the Walmart partnership.
Yeah, because it was like one of their was it one of like their members? That was like a fake.
They forgot to switch the account, I think.
That's what it was. Yeah, they forgot to switch it. Oh, I remember that. That was What a
fucking
classic.
hilarious, bro. There's been some really funny moments in crypto. I think we've all seen and done some funny stuff, dude. It's just what a space to be in. But going back to your point, I really hope the super cycle is a thing because, hey, for my bags, like we'll all meet up, in Tahiti or something. I don't know where it's nice and sunny and there's beaches, but not Florida beaches where there's like crackhead on the beach. Where there's like nice tropical vibes with cool people.
I live in Texas. The only beach we have here is Galveston, and that thing's got like oil just spilt all over it. So at least you have a nice beach.
I have a buddy of mine moving to Texas. Kind of feels like there's a lot going on up there. Kind of feels like there's a lot going on.
It's an epicenter. Yeah,
I feel like
it's starting to become a hub.
I'm entering this point where, I'm about to have some availability to do what I want. Hence all this crap in the back. And I'm thinking about doing some nomadic traveling. I got invited to Europe and some places, so I might do that first. When I come back, I want to check out Texas and also, Cali and stuff like that. And minimal. We'll swing by Northern California.
Maybe avoid San Diego, San Francisco a little bit. So.
Yeah, but I've heard great things about Wyoming too. I want to go get a look. I mean, really, I'm just I've been kind of mourning the loss of the United States in crypto because as an American and as a European citizen, as I'm dual, baby, let's go. But as an American first, like, damn, we sold the bag, boys. Like, what the fuck? We have all this innovation here. People who care so deeply. I can't tell you how many people I've met over the years at conferences. I've spoken at conferences in Florida and DC. I've met people in New York and California, Vegas, like Texas, like people who are deeply passionate and who are such an addition to the space. And I'm so pissed still that we've seen this crackdown because the innovation here, it's a beautiful thing. And we've really, just like how America gave up being this like scientific innovator, we've kind of shifted away from being this Web3 innovator too. And I feel like the future really is not here. And Europe is like a milk toast. They'll just do the same thing we do, just a milk toast version. So, Asia and Dubai, boys.
Where's your second passport?
Somewhere in this mess.
Okay.
I don't know. I probably need to go to the consulate and get a new Greek passport. You meant like where's my? Oh,
yeah. Greek.
Oh, I took that literally. Yeah, no, I'm a dual citizen of Greece and the U.S.
Oh, nice.
So my family's flying back from Greece right now. They were just there on a trip.
Because we had Katie the Russian on a few weeks ago, and they do the whole passport deal, and I think that's actually, I'm seeing a lot more interest in that from a lot of people, just getting like an escape hatch, basically.
Well, you gotta follow the money, bro. At the end of the day, you gotta follow the money, and if America wants to continue this path, it's like the money's gonna leave, bro. So, adapt or die. Adapt or die. Everyone in this space, feels like we're all just, we all want to be our own bosses and do our own things, and that's a very hard way to live, right? Like, I don't know. I never know where my next paycheck is coming from. I didn't get a check for 6 months. You know what I mean? Granted, I'm going to be fine, but the point is, you never know where income's coming in. Especially as a creator, you can work with one company that pays you a bag, and that'll be enough for months on end. Versus little partnerships here and there. So it's just very inconsistent income. I don't know if you guys have dealt with that too, but it's very inconsistent, and the bear market makes it even harder. So thank God I'm able to survive, with the way I am now. But a lot of people haven't. A lot of people have had to basically just follow where they can actually get work. And so, it does suck, but that's kind of the reality.
I guess some final points I'd like to kind of bring up. So on my end here is, I know you kind of touched a little bit on this earlier about not NFTs, but more so gaming crypto and stuff. So I guess just to kind of wrap it up here a little bit, what do you think would be the next big jump in crypto? What sector in crypto would you look towards to possibly invest in? Obviously, there's still, like I said, a lot of innovation that needs to be had, a lot of white papers and whatnot that needs to be set in place and whatnot. So what would you look towards for future investments for crypto?
I think that the one thing that no one really has talked about yet, mostly because we don't have the the means to do this is augmented reality. Now, granted, I've seen some projects attempt this poorly, but with the announcement of Apple's new Vision Pro, we are one step closer to making that a reality. I've never been very bullish on VR. As somebody who's played a lot of VR, I can't really play VR anymore because it makes my tummy hurt. I was climbing as Vader on some rock walls, and I got so violent. I thought I was going to throw up like right there and then. And so now, most I'll do is Beat Saber. But augmented reality, I think, is going to really shift how we see physical and digital items, right? Because, having a digital item is really cool and great, but it's not like you can, put on or wear things from the metaverse in real life. You can't see it on people. You can't hold it right in your hand, visualize it. I think augmented reality is going to change that greatly. And so, I'm looking forward to who's going to build the coolest thing in augmented reality on a personal level. That being said, when it comes to gaming, I think gaming is really the first and easiest way to integrate Web3, because gamers have been doing it for years already with things like CSGO skins. That has been talked about a million times. I'm just looking to see something come of it. That's what I'm excited for.
Perfect, man. Tucker, anything else that you want to say before you wrap up, brother?
No, I mean, I very much appreciate you coming out. I remember, interviewing you with my leaf in Miami. It was pretty funny, but yeah, no, man, great conversation. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, boys. I'll ramble on about whatever for as long as you let me. So, thanks for letting me loose on your audience here, man.
No problem, man. Shout out to our audience. Shout out to our Discord members, our newsletter subscribers. Shout out to BCB for coming on to talk some shop with BB, right? BB, BCB, right? Yeah, man. Excited to to work on some potential future collaborations and all that stuff on YouTube. Twitter Spaces, if you wanna.
I swing through occasionally.
Yeah, brother. But yeah, man, this is going to be recorded on YouTube as usual, and I think we covered a lot of cool stuff. Jerome Powell actually said a few bullish things on crypto. He actually said that the crypto market has proved itself to be a good market, right, for creating wealth and all that stuff. Something along those lines, but I kind of added my own flavor to it. I'm a super cycle proponent, so if Jerome Powell says anything good, remotely good, anything that's not hawkish, I'm just thinking about it as it's super cycle time, right? So,
I hope so.
So, all right. So before we wrap up, brother, what's your price prediction end of the year, man?
End of year, I think we probably going to sit, or I'm going to give you a range. I'd like to say between 32 to 36K.
Let's go, bro.
I'd say that's pretty good in my opinion, because considering that summertime is a weak point for Bitcoin regardless.
Yeah.
We always see kind of an uptick towards end of year. Now, I don't know how big of an uptick, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. Regardless, I'm in for the ride. I'm accumulating. We're all here because we share a passion for Bitcoin. We share a passion for crypto in general. I know there's some Bitcoin maxis on here, obviously because Bitcoin. In the chat and stuff like that, but
I'm not looking at the chat.
Some Bitcoin maxis, and I'd love to debate if you guys want on that, because I love a good toss up of ideas. We're all here for a very simple reason, and that's because we see the value in owning our own money, and we see the value in what decentralization offers, and I think as long as we don't forget that, the community will survive, and we can do whatever we want in terms of rallying the troops. So as long as we focus on our core messaging, I don't think there's anything we have to worry about long term for the success of Bitcoin.
Beautiful, man. So with that being said, thank you everyone so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this conversation, feel free to hit that like button and click that subscribe button down below. Smash that like button and subscribe as much as you can. And we're going to be doing a lot more YouTube, and if you guys want to check us out even more, feel free to check out our Twitter page and all the links down below. We're going to be doing YouTube Spaces in just over an hour with Tone Vase, talk about the state of the market and a few other things that me and him spoke upon. So feel free to tune into that, and also feel free to follow Blockchain Boy over on Twitter, YouTube. He has a TikTok as well, and we're looking forward to doing more collabs with him. And we do have some surprises for you here on our YouTube channel. So feel free to keep up to date with all of our stuff and turn on bell notice for all of our content creation. We got Edward here, who's our head guy for YouTube Shorts, and I'm going to be doing some stuff with him as well over the coming months, going into the second half of the year. So look forward to that. So my name is Lewis. Thank you all so much for participating and for taking the time out of your day to listen to us talk shop. And we really appreciate you guys tuning in during these times that aren't really as parabolic as they were in 2020, 2021. So thank you all so much. Take care. God bless you. And we'll see you all on Twitter Spaces at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time. God bless you.